It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, December 17th. We are back midweek. We've got a hump of a day. Yes, it's hump day. We are 1 week to Christmas. 1 week to Christmas. We are on day, 5 of Hanukkah already, or is it day 4? Now I can't keep my days straight. Sunday was night 1, Monday was night 2, Tuesday was night 3. We are on night 4 of Hanukkah. Night 4 of Hanukkah. So happy Hanukkah, night 4. We're halfway through the Hanukkah celebrations. And of course, 1 week to Christmas. Presents are being purchased. Parents, you hear me? We are getting through everything. Guys, we have a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about. There are more updates, of course, with the Reiner case, the Rob Reiner case, which I want to talk about because I am keeping my eyes on it like a hawk. I kind of can't get enough of the updates right now just because there are so many updates as things are developing. I'm sure it will slow down in the next couple days until the next arraignment, which will be early January. I'll get into that, all the details. We'll find out a little bit more about how Alan Jackson jumped on, plus the timeline. And then, of course, the other two children, Romy and Jake, released a statement. There's some more news though that we'll get into today. We'll move on past that story. So don't worry, we're not just going to talk about the Reiner case. Right after that, we'll get into some more light news. We'll talk about a big move for the Oscars. Meghan Markle and Harry are they just don't know how to quit. Okay? They just don't know how to quit. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Lots of other little stories that I've got in the green room for you guys. So don't you worry. We'll get into all of that and more on today's Daily Dose of Donna.
Can you imagine? Not feel the magic. Can you imagine? Not feel the magic.
Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Y'all, I'm so close to my next big milestone on YouTube. I'm at 53,900 something. I'm close to 54K, baby. We're moving on up. Moving on up to the 54K. That's my new song. That's my new song, y'all. If you guys are new here in this community, just so you know that what do I cover? Everyone's always like, what do you cover? Because you cover true crime, you cover, obviously you cover sometimes reality, you cover this. And I just had a meeting about my podcast the other day and they said, what do you cover? And I was like, I think I just cover a little bit of everything. I cover what interests me. And then I just hope it interests you too. So you're going to find like a little bit of a buffet here. It's a salad bar. Okay. It's your soup plantation of content. It's pop culture, it's trials, it's true crime, it's reality TV, it's documentaries, it's all the things. It's a little bit of everything, a daily mash, a daily dose. It's a daily dose of everything. It's a beer flight, Micah says. I would say it's more like a wine flight if you really want to get into my head, or like a martini taster, a little bit of a martini taster. I cover what people are talking about. You're talking about it, so am I. So I was on a group text with my friends Molly and Zach this morning, and we were joking that we need to start an all-time news network, just like a 24/7 news network, just talking about whatever is happening because we're texting all day long every day. And I said our tagline should be, this is also at like 4 a.m. because we text early every day. And I said our tagline should be, it's important to us, so it better be important to you. Come on. Isn't that a great tagline? Right? So let's get into today's important topics. I'm going to be throwing in a couple of ads throughout the show because I have to, because that's what's keeping the bills paid. It's what's keeping the lights on the Daily Dose of Donna News Network. DDODNN. DDODNN. So, yeah. Denise, thanks for bringing this up. I almost spit out my drink last night too. Ashley Banfield, my girl. I love Ashley so much, but sometimes her guests throw me off. I couldn't believe this one yesterday. Ashley is great. She has great, great takes on so many of these cases. And last night she had Dr. Doolittle, Dr. Wackadoodle, Leslie Dobson as her guest talking about the Reiner case. I'm like, what? And she's also had some other guests on her show that make me question everything. And one of them, I don't want to badmouth her, but you know, it's one of those things that you wish upon a ball of some sort, a gemstone, if you know what I mean. These are the people that she has as her guests. I'm like, wait, what? What are we doing here? Now, to each his own. I personally like when people have as guests legal experts, FBI agents. That's why I've been watching Brian Enton. I really like Brian Enton over on X because he's been interviewing this Maureen Walsh, who's a former FBI agent. I also was watching lawyer, Peter Tragos. Love him, followed him explicitly during the Karen Reid case, and he's going to be someone that I'm going to be following if this continues on to trial soon, which it will. Of course it will. Love following him. I find him to be phenomenal. There's certain people that you just kind of connect with. Everyone has their people in the law tube space. I know some people love Emily D. Baker. Everyone has their people, right? And you just do you. You connect with who you connect with. Speaking of Peter Tragos, this is a good moment. Gwen, my doser Gwen, who I think is here in the comments. Yes, Gwen is here. I see Gwen. She sent me a DM because we were all a little bit thrown off by Alan Jackson yesterday, right? We were. And one of my good friends, Alyssa, in real life, she is a criminal public defender. Criminal public defender or just a public defender, I think is what you're called. And her job is crazy. I mean, it is a very, very thankless job, right? You work really hard and you get assigned to cases that is, you're defending some of the people that are given some of the worst sentences, life in jail, death penalty. I mean, the worst. And she gets hired to hopefully find ways to, get them off if she believes that they are innocent. I mean, it is a wild, wild position. And she has found a way to get them exonerated. A lot of them have been in jail for wrong reasons. They've been wrongly charged for life in prison. It is an unbelievably difficult job. So she really believes in the justice system. And she got a little frustrated with me yesterday on my post, on my Facebook feed. And I take her opinion seriously. She's an actual friend of mine. And she doesn't follow like all the salacious headlines like we do. I don't know how much she knows about Alan Jackson, from the Karen Reid trial. I don't know if she pays attention to all of that. But when I posted how upset I was about Alan Jackson and everything, she responded. This was her comment. She said, "How ridiculous about my feelings." She goes, or about my opinion, that I was so upset. She goes, "Every single person is entitled to a defense. You don't know anything about this person or what happened outside of media reports and hearsay. Thank goodness he has a qualified attorney to speak for him. This is the USA. Defense attorneys don't pick and choose cases based on what you want them to do." And I thought to myself, oof, she's right, but I still hate it because I want to really like Alan since I have liked Alan. So it's a real tough thing. It's like I want to root for Alan Jackson, but I can't root for Alan Jackson when he's representing someone that did such a heinous crime, if in fact he is guilty. So it really tricks me out. Now I responded to her and I said, I get that. It's just my opinion. We ended up texting off the record, not off the record, but separately. And she was like, I'm happy to talk to you about this and like give you my opinion. However, Gwen, my doser here, sent me Peter's live yesterday. Peter Tragos from the lawyer, covered the press conference yesterday, which I did as well. It's also on my page. And he talks about this and he has a really, really great take on Alan Jackson being hired. And I think you guys will also appreciate what he had to say. So this is the lawyer talking about Alan Jackson and how we're all feeling like, ooh, what do you think about this?
Tell me if this one's better.
Investigation still very active. It's being
Hold
filed
on.
as we speak. Please appropriately. So if we could have
Hear from the DA, there's people, I guess, upset that Alan Jackson took this case. I hope that we can all learn and understand the job of a defense attorney and what they do. And just because you like one of the defendants that somebody represents does not change the job. And most of the time, the vast majority of clients most criminal defense attorneys have, when they first get the case, people do not like that person. They think they have done something wrong. That's how society is built. When law enforcement arrests somebody, when prosecutors charge somebody, when somebody's sitting in that defendant chair, when jurors come in and look at the person sitting in that chair, it's usually negative feelings. And from my perspective, criminal defense attorneys don't look at it like that. They're protecting everybody's rights. They're fighting for all of our rights. We care about the Constitution. We care about people. We care about the justice system being the best for the worst of us, so it works for the best of us. So he's not going to be surprised if people hate him based on now that he's a higher profile attorney because of the Karen Reid case. I know he was already high profile before, but there's no doubt he is a higher profile now. It's not going to be a surprise. Just like Dick Harpootlian, who has a pretty lauded career, not surprised people hated him because he represented Alec Murdaugh. Just like Mark Betterow realizes people are going to hate him because the people he represents. My dad, same thing. They don't really, I don't want to say they don't care to sound like crass, but they don't care. They don't care if people don't like them because of who they represent. They have a duty. They feel that duty. They feel that calling. That's what they're going to do. And we as a society need people like that, or it does not work. If we don't have people like that, it's like cop says, you going to prison the rest of your life. Prosecutor says, I want to charge you with this crime. Judge throws you in prison forever. Politician throws you in prison forever. You need to have criminal defense attorneys.
It makes a lot of sense. It's not necessarily exactly what we love just because we've developed a weird relationship, almost like a parasocial relationship with Alan Jackson, which is probably not very healthy, to be honest. But that being said, I also wanted to share with you Billy Bush's take on this. And Billy Bush is very connected to this case as well. He's interviewed Rob Reiner. He's interviewed Nick Reiner. And he's also interviewed Alan Jackson and is friends with Alan Jackson. Now, do I have an idea that he's actually friendly enough with Alan Jackson that he's asked him personally what's been going on here? We don't know. He's not saying that has happened, but he does maybe have an idea, maybe more than some of us. And he has a theory that kind of is a little bit different. I'm very interested what you guys think.
Everybody's asked me, because I know Alan Jackson, how has Alan Jackson come to be the defense attorney for Nick Reiner? And I think that will be revealed in the coming days. People will learn that. No answer for you on that at this moment, but I do have my own thought. Rob Reiner was a very progressive political guy. His views were liberal. California is a death penalty state, but when Gavin Newsom came to office in 2019, he put a moratorium on the death penalty. So, San Quentin still has death row. It just hasn't been active in a long time. So look, Nick Reiner could get the death penalty. If they go through with it, who knows? But my feeling is I think someone within the family might have hired Alan Jackson. Maybe the siblings, Jake or Romy, maybe cousins, maybe, someone related or close friends, because they know Rob is of the liberal view against the death penalty. And I think Rob also had been, and his wife, Michelle, had been complaining to friends, reportedly, in the last several weeks and months, that they felt Nick's mental state was deteriorating. And they were really, really worried about him. And I think the family knows that Nick is extremely mentally ill, right? And so I think they get Alan Jackson, and what they're going for is not to try and get him off. I think that would be impossible, but not guilty by reason of insanity. Which means he would go to a state psychiatric hospital instead of a level 4 prison, And I think that's probably as sad and hurt and angry and all the emotions that come with losing your parents to their son and a knife, they see the mental illness in a loved one. And I think for some reason they can supersede that anger and try to get him some type of help or some type of, residency in a mental health hospital. And, that all that means is until he's mentally capable, he doesn't stand trial. I mean, if he heals in there, which no one does, and he becomes totally, then he has to go back in and, face the jury, face the court. So that's my thought. As awful and brutal and gruesome as these murders were, that it would be Rob and Michelle's wish that Nick get psychiatric help rather than throw him in this level 4 slammer where someone will knife him and kill him. That's just my thought. Anyway, we'll do all we can to figure that out.
So his take is that it's possible, it's because of his progressive values, and they would always want him to have the best defense, even in the worst case scenario. There's also a lot of theories that he also is, held on retainer, Alan Jackson, for the family. It's a possibility that this kid was getting in trouble left and right through the years. And every big, successful family, especially if you're involved in a lot of different businesses, et cetera, probably has an attorney on retainer. Although Alan Jackson is like a pretty big attorney to have on retainer. It doesn't really make sense to me that you would have Alan Jackson as your attorney on retainer. Like, if anything, if you're Rob Reiner, you would probably have a business attorney on a detainer, or not detainer, retainer. I'm saying the wrong word. On retainer, you would have like some sort of business affairs attorney. You would have some sort of a entertainment law type of person. I can't imagine that you would have. Does Alan Jackson only deal with criminal cases on retainer? I don't know. I can't remember exactly. Little break here. A lot of people are asking about my hair. It fell since I did it because I did it 2 hours ago because I was recording something else, and then I did a quick workout in my jeans. I mean, that was ridiculous. I did a workout in my jeans, but I did a TikTok on my new hair tool. I bought it from the TikTok shop. So if you guys have TikTok, it's on my TikTok feed. And you can just quickly buy it. It's $30. It's like it's so easy to use. So I don't have it in front of me, but I bought it on the TikTok shop. Just buy it from my link on my personal TikTok. If you don't have TikTok, I guess let me know and I'll put it on my newsletter. Okay, let's move on to more about Alan Jackson. Now, like Megyn Kelly or not, she had a take on it this morning that made Molly, my friend Molly, who is a big proponent of bringing, okay, we'll put it on the newsletter. I'll put it on the newsletter, dailydosepod.com/newsletter. If you want any of my links, like I put all the links of what I'm reading, what I'm eating, what I'm wearing for the week. I put it all in the newsletter. So make sure to sign up. So Molly is a big proponent of the Menendez brothers getting out. Okay. She knew the Menendez brothers as kids. Her parents were friends with the parents of the Menendez brothers. They all knew that these parents were horrendous parents. She believes that they've done their time and they should be released. I don't necessarily agree. Okay. Maybe that's unpopular with you guys. I still find it to be a little bit odd to think that the Menendez brothers should be released just because it was so awful how they murdered their parents and then went back in. Like, I just can't fathom that. To me, it's really, really gruesome. But I'm not covering that case right now. Megyn Kelly had a take on it that Molly just sent me saying, oh my God, do you think that this is what Alan Jackson is going to do? Basically, there's this article that just came out, I believe yesterday. The source is this man. His name is Eric Ade. Eric Ade is an actor, and actually, I know him. I know him from years ago. I don't currently know him, but I used to know him well because he was an actor that I used to work with when I was casting in my first casting job ever, working for my first boss ever, for Disney. And he had a very strong relationship with my casting director boss. So he was coming in and getting cast a lot of times. He also is a very famous guy because he was an army guy that this is a really, really random tangent, but he was taken in he's an American actor and a professional poker player who was arrested and imprisoned in Pakistan for alleged drug trafficking. He was born in LA and was taken in Pakistan. You guys, it was a huge news story. I don't know if you know this story, but I remember this really well. He's 45 years old now, but he wrote a book about this, 3 years in Pakistan, the Eric Ade story. So, like, I'll never forget. Here's the book. I'll never forget his name. And we used to always audition him and bring him in because he was a child actor. And then this happened to him when he was older. And I guess my boss knew him as a child and felt kind of sad for him and would always give him chances. So anyway, he went and was cast in that movie, Being Charlie, which is the movie that he did with Rob Reiner and Nick Reiner, based loosely on Nick Reiner and Rob Reiner's life, right? He was interviewed. His part was cut from the movie. He's a very small actor, if he even acts anymore at all. He says in his interview that Rob and Nick had this very tumultuous relationship. They would fight like crazy, but also he says that Rob would kiss Nick on the lips. That one statement, Meghan Kelly, who's a former lawyer or is a lawyer and former, trial attorney, says out loud, are they going to try some sort of defense where, God forbid, where Rob Reiner was abusing his son in that way for years? And is this like going to be the kind of case that Alan Jackson's going to try to build based on just a sentence like that or something along those lines, which to me would be tragic, because now you have two dead parents and nothing that they can do to defend themselves with that story. Now, we haven't heard any other rumors of that. We have no anything else. But what kind of case can Alan Jackson build to defend this son other than insanity, right? Other than insanity, or find a way to say it wasn't him, which will be impossible, I think, to do, or to villainize in some way the parents, which I can't imagine. I just can't imagine. Because now you have these other two siblings, right? Now you have Jake and Romy Reiner, who cannot in any way corroborate a story that these parents were evil, that these parents were bad even, that they were absent, that they were addicts, that they were anything. These parents, for all account, not one person has come out to say anything but that they were good parents. In fact, they were almost too good, right? They almost gave too much. So Jake and Romy Reiner finally break their silence and released their first statement today. And this is what it said. Of course, it would be a heartbreaking statement. They said, words cannot even begin to describe the unimaginable pain we are experiencing every moment of the day. The horrific and devastating loss of our parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, is something that no one should ever experience. They weren't just our parents, they were our best friends. We are grateful for the outpouring of condolences, kindness, and support we have received, not only from our family and friends, but people from all walks of life. We now ask for respect and privacy, for speculation to be tempered with compassion and humanity, and for our parents to be remembered for the incredible lives they lived and the love that they gave. That statement, again, really pushes the closeness that they had with their parents. I don't think anyone doubted how close Jake and Romy were with their parents. I think it really shows that they were. I don't think there was any division in the family other than with Nick. Let's just do a quick ad break for a couple of our sponsors, and then we're going to keep going with what Alan Jackson said today when Nick Reiner showed up briefly in court. So our first sponsor today is Ollie Dog Food. You guys know I'm obsessed with Ollie. I love me some Ollie. In my house, our dogs aren't just pets. They're arguably the most important member of our family. Sorry, kids. Sorry, boys. My dogs are so important to us. We do everything that we can to give them healthy, happy life. In fact, I spent 3 hours last night at the vet because my dog, Frankie, is not doing well, you guys. This is actually going to be really hard for me because I'm just going to prepare you guys for anyone that has gotten to know my dogs. Frankie is 14 and she's not doing well. I don't want to cry, but she's not doing well. And I truly spent 3 hours last night at the vet, and it's coming to the time. I don't want to talk about it because I'll start to cry, but it's coming to the time where we're going to have to make some big decisions because she's not doing well. She had a huge fall over the weekend from the stairs. She's losing sight. She's losing her brain. Like she's having dementia. It's horrible. But she has a very big appetite, which is actually the only thing that keeps me like happy for her is she loves herself some food. And thank God, because she eats Ollie every time she has a chance, which is really, really special that we have Ollie. And I want the absolute best for my dogs. So I give them Ollie food. There's fresh, protein-packed meals. They're made with real human-grade ingredients. And they offer 5 tasty recipes, all slow cooked for top nutrition. There are tailor-mealed plans to meet our dog's specific needs, perfectly portioned meals in mess-free packaging. And they come with a scoop for easy serving and a storage pup container for 0 fridge stink. There's also an Ollie app that offers on-demand health screenings where you can tap real experts for pup peace of mind. Ever since I've started my dogs on Ollie, the one thing I can guarantee is that they go straight to mealtime. They're super excited. They don't leave food in their bowls. If you guys have picky eaters, I know that feeling where you're like, I just wasted all this food. Nope, clean bowls every time. And their poops are always solid and like, you know what I mean? I don't want to get graphic, but you know what I mean. Your dog's well-being starts with their food. And that's why Ollie delivers fresh human-grade food that your dogs will love. Head to ollie.com/dailydose. Tell them all about your dog and use code DAILYDOSE to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a happiness guarantee on the first box. So if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/dailydose and enter code DAILYDOSE to get 60% off your first box. And we are also sponsored by AG1. As you guys know, I'm very big into health. I told you that last week Oliver had strep and the flu, and I didn't get sick. In fact, no one else in the house got sick, and I was giving everyone AG1 like it was my job, okay? Everyone around us is sick. I don't know about you guys, but everyone around us is sick. I feel like we're surrounded by coughing and sneezing. This time of year, it's more important than ever to be proactive about supporting your immune health. If you're traveling over the holidays, if you have kids in school, large family gatherings, it's so important to try to stay healthy. So please, please consider adding AG1 Next Gen. It contains more vitamins and minerals than ever before, and it's clinically shown to fill common nutrient gaps. The pro and prebiotics in AG1 also help support your gut health and digestion. AG1 helps me stay consistent when the rest of my routine is thrown off. It's super easy to drink. You just throw it into your shaker cup every morning. There's also a nighttime ritual that you can use. There's different flavors. If I have needed this product, it's what I'd use. I love, love, love the fact that I can just drink down my greens and then I don't have to feel guilty if I'm just like going to a holiday party and eating a ton of cheese. This is the truth, okay? I love cheese. I drink it first thing in the morning, and that's what I do. AG1 has their best offer ever. If you head to drinkag1.com/dailydose, you'll get the welcome kit, a morning person hat, a bottle of vitamin D3 and K2, an AG1 flavor sampler, and you'll get to try their new sleep supplement, AGZ, for free, which has been a game changer for my nightly routine. That's drinkag1.com/dailydose for 126 in free gifts for new subscribers. That's drinkag1.com/daily dose. And you'll get $126 in free gifts. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Thank you guys so much for sitting through that. I appreciate that. Thank you for all people that are subscribing. Have you liked the stream? Make sure to like the stream. How many likes do we have right now, you guys? Let's do a like check. Like check. Let's get a number. I'm going to guess 102. And if it's under 102, I'll really cry. Okay. Let's move on to other things. Alan Jackson, really fast. We're going to do it. 104. I knew I was going to be close. Okay, let's get that up. Let's get up to 200, you all. So just a couple more stories on this case, and then we're going to move on to other stuff. So we are going to, Alan Jackson went to court today. Today they had a hearing, and Nick Reiner did show up. Now, as you guys know, he is on suicide watch, and he wasn't medically cleared last night or yesterday, but he is medically cleared. He was medically cleared to show up very briefly today. However, this is how he looked. He was in one of those suicide vests, I guess. I don't know exactly what it's called. It's very, very difficult to understand, I guess. It's just a sketch. I don't know camera-wise how this is going to work. I would imagine we're going to get cameras when it does go to trial. This is a criminal case here in Los Angeles. I mean, it's called a turtle shell. Thank you. Same as Tyler Robinson. Interesting. No, but Tyler Robinson was wearing it's like shackles, whatever, a turtle vest. Thank you. It's, it's hard to tell from this if he looks sad, if he looks like emotional, if he looks understanding of what he did. We don't really know. All we know is, he showed up very, very briefly in the courtroom looking like this. And what they decided in the moment was that they were going to move the court case. They were going to push the court case, the arraignment, to January 7th. Why? It's essentially that is when they feel it will be kind of, ready. There's a lot of serious issues that are associated, and that's kind of when they'll be ready. I'm going to play for you guys. Let me find the clip. I'm going to play for you guys a short clip that is of Alan Jackson speaking. He speaks about outside of the court case. Outside of the court house, and he's speaking about it. Gosh, there's so many clips. Sorry, guys. 1 second. I found one right here. Here's one of a little clip of it.
We ask that during this process, you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves and that the family deserves. So with that, we are set for January 7th for an arraignment. That's the next court date. And that's all I have to say at this point. There may be more at some other point, but today we're going to rest on where we stand procedurally, which is this was a continuance of arraignment. Nothing happened today substantively. We'll be back for an arraignment in the same department on the 7th of January. We'll see you then. Happy New Year.
So he didn't say anything super of note. He just basically gave everyone a little bit of information, that he needed to, just because the press is dying to know. I mean, we're dying to know, obviously. Everyone wants more information. People are very, very interested. The judge asked Nick Reiner if he agreed to waive his right to a speedy arraignment. He said, yes, Your Honor. He didn't enter a plea. And then, as you just heard, Alan Jackson made that statement saying that please, allow this process to move forward in a way that it was designed without a rush to judgment. It's hard. It's hard to not have a rush to judgment, Alan Jackson also objected to photos and video being taken of Nick at the hearing. He told the judge there is an issue of ID. I don't really know what that would mean. But there you go, In terms of the timeline, I do want to correct these rumors from what we know. The rumors that we had been told from Billy Bush and a couple other people that allegedly when Romy got to the house, she saw her mom alive. That I am 99.99999% is a rumor and it's not true. The reason why is because both bodies were, from what we have heard now, found at the house deceased. They were not taken. Neither body was taken alive or found alive from what we've heard. But another very, very fascinating part of this is, according to all the things that we've heard, and New York Times just released something late last night, that Romy went to the house, saw her dad, Rob, in bed. That's all she saw. She opened the door. She sees her dad, freaks out, runs outside where her roommate, allegedly it's her roommate or a friend, is outside with her, goes outside, screams, whatever. Her roommate calls 911. She doesn't see her mom. She had no idea where her mom was. So the question is, where is her mom, right? They say that both mom and dad were murdered in bed. Did mom, did she just not, did she just see dad real fast and then run? Did she not see both? I don't know. Was mom on the side of the bed? Did mom try to run and then was attacked? I don't know. And meanwhile, Nick was spotted hours later at a gas station, casual as ever, by CCTV, buying a Gatorade of some sort, it looked like, right before he was arrested. And we'll have to see what happened. Now, Brian Enton, this other reporter, was interviewing former FBI agent Maureen Walsh. Now, she believes all of that blood that was in the hotel room 207, she believes that was all him washing off the crime scene, him washing off evidence, which is interesting to me because he checked in at 4 a.m. and they said that he had no obvious signs of getting into a violent confrontation. I don't exactly understand how this is. How can he have so much blood to wash off if he hadn't had any obvious scenes of a confrontation? Unless, was it all under his clothes and then he just quickly threw on other clothes over it? You know what I mean? Did he get into this bloodied mess and then just threw on? He was living at the Reiners. So did he get into this big fight, covered in blood, then go to his room, grab clothes, grab gloves, grab a beanie, wipe off his face, whatever, and then go in, and then they wouldn't have seen any evidence of blood because he's throwing on other pants or whatever, and then go. They have no idea where the murder weapon is, allegedly, or they haven't mentioned that they have the murder weapon. He could have thrown it away at the hotel. He could have thrown it away on the way to the hotel. He could have thrown it away outside of the hotel or anywhere between there and Exposition Park, which I showed you guys yesterday, which is I showed it in a different live when I was doing the press conference, which is all the way across the hotel. Across the town, right? So who knows? It's really, really wild. Maddie says, I'm sorry, do we know that he checked in at 4 or he entered at 4? Could he have checked in earlier? The reports say he checked in at 4, but I just don't know how. Like, did he go to the desk at 4 a.m. and say, like, I'd like to check in for one day starting today? Wouldn't they say you can't check in at 4? Like, we have a check-in time, right? Very interesting. I don't know. I mean, the hotel has a lot to answer for. I'm sure the hotel has cameras. They have to be better than Brown University in 2025, right? We have to have better cameras in this world at this time. It's so wild. The whole story is so wild. Okay. Now, until we have more information, we can just continue to speculate, which I guess we shouldn't be doing, right, at this point. Now, let's move on to two other stories. Yeah, I say we move forward into other stories. Oh, I guess people can check in at 4 a.m. When I drive cross country, Tanya says I check in at 4 a.m. Okay. So let's move on. Yeah. I will keep you guys updated on things as they come along. Up to other stories. And it feels so interesting and weird to talk about other stories right now. But let's talk about the Oscars, you guys. The Oscars are sending shockwaves through Hollywood. Nothing is sending shockwaves through Hollywood compared to this story. Okay. Let's be real. Nothing is. But I guess they're trying to move some attention. But the Oscars are sending shockwaves through Hollywood because guess what? In 2029, you're going to find it here on YouTube. The Oscars will be on YouTube starting in 2029, which is wild because I still remember having this big argument with Lance. I remember having a huge argument with Lance a few years ago when he said, in the future, TV will all be online. And I said, what are you even talking about? I can't watch TV on a computer. I had no idea. No idea. But now, yes, it says it will be on YouTube. And I think it will also be on ABC. Let's see the details, but it will be available live and for free on YouTube. Well, YouTube is free, but you know, it says it marks the end of ABC's 50-year run, and it symbolizes streaming growing's influence within the film industry. We are thrilled to enter into a multifaceted global partnership with YouTube to be the future home of the Oscars and our year-round Academy programming. It will allow us to expand access to the work of the Academy to the largest worldwide audience possible. The ceremony will be broadcast live and for free with additional access for users of YouTube TV. Oh, okay. So if you have YouTube TV, it's just going to be another way to make more money. There was a big YouTube TV, ABC, Disney licensing fight, but now, it's all about money. It's all about the money, right? So, I mean, you're already here on YouTube if you're watching me, so I'm sure that won't be an issue. I wonder if they're going to have higher numbers or lower numbers. It'll be interesting to see if it will help or not. I'm kind of over all award shows. I'm over Hollywood in general. Here's another person I am over, and I know that, this isn't that popular with you guys yet, but I am over George Clooney majorly. It was the comment where he said he doesn't fight with his wife of 10 years. Sorry, guys. Don't care for him. I find him to be fake. I find him to be an oddball. He may be in a movie that everyone says is really good. I know everyone says that he's in some movie that is really good. But George Clooney, let's see this news story that just popped up. He's the king of these weird sound bites, right? My twins mock me in Italian. He's the new Ryan Reynolds. George Clooney jokes his twins are rotten to the core. He's really taking over for Ryan Reynolds with these really bad lines. He said his twins, Ella and Alexander, are rotten to the core because they laugh at him while he sits there like an idiot. They rip on me right in front of me, and I look at them going, "What did you say? What are you talking about?" And my wife understands, and the rest of the family gets it, and I just sit there looking like an idiot. Okay. And then Jimmy asked, are they bullying you, George? Do you need me to step in there? And he says, okay, so when you have children, you'll see that they are little, but they are evil. They're rotten to the core, those children, and they can break you. But, you know, he doesn't fight with his wife. He doesn't fight with his wife, guys. So he called his kids evil. He calls his kids rotten to the core. But don't worry, he doesn't fight with his wife. Doesn't fight with his wife. So just think he's perfect, okay? He's a perfect human being. Never forget. Now, here's another story that I find really, really wild, and it's the Tara Reid story, you guys. Remember, we talked about Tara Reid last week. Where's Enrique today, by the way? I'm really sad. I'm losing my Enrique because I can't believe that he's not here saying you're sponsored by Daily Mail, because all my stories are in Daily Mail. Do you guys remember Tara Reid, the investigation, how she was like, no, I was drugged and we're waiting for the hospital records to show that I was drugged? Well, the investigation is officially closed now, even though we all kind of knew that she had really actually drank at that bar because we saw the footage that she was drinking at the bar. But now the investigation is officially closed because she didn't even have a chemical test at the hospital. She went to the hospital and she didn't get drug tested. How does this make sense? Whose fault is this? Who messed up here, y'all? And I need to know from you guys that work at hospitals. I'm sure there's some RNs here in the comments, or there's some, people that work in the hospital world. What happened? Now, I don't believe she was drugged because once I saw her guzzling down alcohol and she said that she only drank one drink, we already saw her lie. So I think that she absolutely was just hammered beyond belief. It says, we are not saying that Tara's claims are false. However, at this time, we don't have evidence to support it, and there's nothing further on our end to investigate. Should additional evidence of a crime be brought forward, we'll reopen the case and investigate accordingly. Yeah. They have no video evidence of anyone tampering with or adding something to the drink. And now they have no chemical test from the hospital. So it's done. It's done. What do you think? I think that's it. I think that's it for Tara on that case. She was, you guys, I think she's hammered. Oh, here. Objection says, I'm a nurse. I bet she wouldn't sign the waiver. Huh. A lot of you guys are saying, sure, they offered, but I bet she would have refused testing. So she was probably that night, she probably hadn't come up with the idea to say, I'm drug tested. I'm drugged, but she was embarrassed. So she didn't want to say, test me, because she knew that she was just hammered. Interesting. I think she was just hammered, you guys. Or maybe she had taken her own drugs. This is just alleged on my own opinion. Maybe she had taken her own drugs and then she was like, I don't want to test for that because then they're going to find A, B, and C in my system. Right? Not the best. Not the best. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, they can't stop, won't stop. And Netflix can't stop, won't stop working with them. Yep. Can't stop, won't stop. They are producing a new project for Netflix. It's based on a book that I read so many years ago. Actually, maybe you guys have read it too. If you're a reader like me and I'm not really into books like this anymore. I find myself bored with books like this, but I used to love a rom-com type book. But now they have, they're coming up with a project coming to Netflix, and it's based on a book called The Wedding Date, which is the first in a 6-book series from New York Times bestselling author Jasmine Guillory. This book was published in 2018, and it's about this girl, Alexa Monroe, who agrees to be a fake date for Drew Nichols at his ex's wedding after they get stuck in an elevator. It's this was the book. It's from the bestselling author of The Proposal. How many of you guys have read this? I absolutely read this book. It's like a cheesy, this is like very, Bridget Jones' Diary-esque type book. This was my era of reading these books. I used to read them all the time. I'm not into it anymore. Now, give me all the thriller, Frida McFadden type books. Those are the books I like now. But this is what they're working on. It feels very Lifetime movie. Like, I just can't really imagine that this is going to, how is she going to star in it? I think if she starred in it, it may actually do fine. I don't know, but it's just never going to stop. Do you think Prince Harry, like really knew that he was coming to America to become just like a producer on Netflix projects? I wonder what the numbers were for her Christmas special. They couldn't have been amazing. I didn't even watch it. What I am watching, I did fall asleep to it last night, but what I am watching is Simon Cowell's new reality show. Has anyone seen that? The Next Act, Simon Cowell show? Why am I into it? Other than the fact that his plastic surgery is quite possibly the worst form of plastic surgery. It's so distracting. Simon Cowell's plastic surgery is so, I can't get used to it. Like, you think that you would get used to seeing his face, but I can't get used to seeing his face. His eyes are so distracting to me, but he's actually good at what he does. He's good at spotting talent. So it's a talent, it's 6 episodes. It's a reality show of finding the next boy band, but it's done documentary style. And it's a lot about his personal life. It's a lot about his home life. It's a lot about his wife and his son and like the process behind the scenes. I'm kind of into it. I'm not going to lie. I watched 1 episode, but his face is so uncomfortable to watch. Like it's really, have you guys seen it? Oh, this is good. That's a good point here. Hey, Donna, did you see John Stamos, Uncle Jesse? Oh my God, he's so hot. Is going to be in the new season of Hunting Wives. Oh, not only did I see it, but did you see this article? I saw this article and John Stamos says wife Caitlin McHugh asked if he's going to show his penis amid Hunting Wives casting news. And I thought to myself, it's a good thing I like that show. I'm not against it. I don't love looking at just penis, just like all the time. Like it's not like I'm not one of those, like show me the penis. But I am down for this. I love Uncle Jesse. I think he's handsome. What was his thing? Like, what was his tagline on that show? I'm into this. I love John Stamos. I loved Hunting Wives. It was a great season of a show. And also, I did also see that Tell Me Lies is coming out with its 3rd season. And another big casting TV news is The Pitt has another season coming out on January, I think, 8th. So like all this good TV is coming and I'm really excited about it. Oh yeah, have mercy. Have mercy, John Stamos. Got so hot. Oh, Molly's here. We've seen so much V. We deserve a little P on that show. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And if I go on a flight and I have to watch the Hunting Wives on a flight, I'm going to have to still minimize it real small and watch it under a blanket. Right under a blanket. Okay, so Molly, I've talked about you so much on this episode. Like, are your ears burning? So let me think. Okay. Finally, we're going to do a few minutes on Real Houses of Salt Lake City just because it's a fun show. Bravo is just not like capturing me as much as it normally is, but I do watch a few of the Bravo shows. I love my Real Houses of Beverly Hills. I love my Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and I will love Summer House when it comes back. And what else am I watching right now? Oh, I love Southern Charm, although this season's a little boring. Okay. Southern Charm better get its shit together. Salt Lake City is really, really interesting. So they're in Greece right now. They're in Greece, and Meredith is struggling. I don't want to be friends with Meredith in life. Okay. Because this is a person that when she's put on the spot and she's not liking what people are saying to her, she's immediately going to retreat into a corner and she's going to run away. And that doesn't make for a good reality show. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you can't take the spice, get out of Greece. She can't handle when people are giving her a hard time. She really can't stand it. She can't handle it. And she really, truly has always done this every season. She runs away. She gets mad. Now, I get it. She's been taking the heat this entire season, this entire episode, or these last few episodes because of this plane incident that no one knows what happened. And until we understand what happened on this fucking plane, we are going to lose our goddamn minds because we feel in the dark. Okay. That's the TV show that we're watching. It's called In the Dark with the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. None of us understand what's going on. Now, Meredith was asked about this plane last night on Watch What Happens Live. And this is what her answer was. I talked about it on my, I showed it on my Instagram stories, and I asked you guys, do you believe Meredith or do you guys believe the rest of the girls about her take on the plane? And most of you guys believe the rest of the girls. I think it was kind of bad timing to ask because Meredith had one of her worst episodes yesterday. But she was on Watch What Happens Live with Noah Schnapp from Stranger Things. Sorry, I'm not a dork like Zach and watch Stranger Things every episode. Just kidding. I know. A lot of you guys love Stranger Things, including my 10-year-old son. I know. First of all, I want to show you what Meredith did as this is actually so freaking funny. This is Meredith and Noah doing little Stranger Things like crossover promo for Watch What Happens Live. It's kind of funny, right? Like they know how to be funny. Okay. Oh my God. Her takes are so, it's probably this one. Let's see.
You haven't
Okay. This is about the plane incident. What do you guys think?
been here since the famous airplane flight.
Oh.
So what do you make of the other women so dogmatically having a different story than you have? And what do you think their motive is here?
Well, first of all, it's not just a different story than me. Their stories all vary from each other, or even at one point, someone's saying it was 2 hours and the next they're saying it's 5, it was 6. Well, this flight wasn't even 6 hours long. So best of luck on that. So they don't have a consistent story to begin with. I think a lot of
the consistent story is that you loudly bullied Brittany on the plane.
I never spoke to Brittany.
But don't you think if something like
Never
that
spoke
happened,
to
like
her now.
someone would have filmed it on their phone or something? If it
Well,
was
no, we
as
know what
aggressive
happened the
as it
last
was.
time people tried to film on the phone.
Well, the majority of the
And someone on
cabin,
the cabin.
contrary to
If it
Heather's
was as
ability
aggressive
to
as
count,
they said, someone on the cabin definitely would have gotten involved and filmed
we
it.
had 8 people in the first class cabin. There were 12 other passengers in there.
Okay.
So
I would have filmed that as
somebody
like
would
a
have
bystander.
filmed it.
I would have too.
If I heard it as
Yes.
Whitney and everyone's describing it.
Your response to audience members who don't believe you is
I don't care if you don't believe me. I know the truth.
You're a liar.
okay.
And a malicious, despicable person.
You haven't.
So most people are not falling for it, right? Most people are not falling for it. I just want to let everyone know that Enrique is, he's alive. He's here. He says, I didn't get the notification today. Check your notifications. I threw you a bone earlier. I said today's episode is sponsored by Daily Mail, clearly, because it was all my articles and you weren't here. And now I'm very sad. But now I'm happy because you're here. Hi. So I I'm very torn on the plane incident, but I still stand by there is something that they're not telling us. There's a reason they're not telling us. There's a story they're not telling us. Something happened on that plane. We just don't know what the story is. But because of that, everything that's happening in every single episode is like not being, we're not getting the whole real story. Everyone's still mad at Meredith. Meredith's holding everything very close to her chest. She's very defensive. She's very introverted. She's very quiet, and she's acting like those. She's acting like a teenager, honestly. She's acting like a kid that is, I'm not happy. I don't want to be here. I want to go home. Now it's Mother's Day. And I don't know. Raise your hand if you're a mom and you want to spend Mother's Day without your kids. That's me. Okay. That silence was me raising my hand. It's not a bad thing to want to be without your kids on Mother's Day. It's actually a lovely day to spend alone with your girlfriends. This is a day that you can recognize being a mother and not having to mother. Yet she's becoming the ultimate victim. It's Mother's Day. And she's like, I just want to be with my kids. Now, last I checked, Meredith had 3 kids. The only one she cares about on Mother's Day is Brooks. The only one she cares about is speaking to the one son, Brooks. What happened to Chloe and the other one? All she cares about is Brooks. I just want to talk to Brooks. So she's having this like back and forth with Heather in the van. And in the middle, hold on. Hello, honey, hi. And everyone's like, what are you doing? It was such bad timing. It was so obvious. And she could have just said, guys, hold on one second. I have 5 minutes to talk to Brooks. He's about to get on a plane. I can't talk to him later. Hold on. She doesn't do that. She just cuts off the argument to talk to her baby, right? So then everyone's getting annoyed. And then she gets even more quiet. And then she's, I don't want to be here. I just want to be with my baby. It's so ridiculous. Then they get to the excursion, which by the way, Angie or whoever producers who set it up that Angie's going to be donkey riding with this group and the other girls are going to be, I forget what they're doing, making a Greek salad or baking or cooking with this group. They put Meredith in the group with her enemies. I mean, come on, that was a little bit of a ridiculous thing, but obviously they did this on purpose. And Meredith gets out of the car and she's like, I don't want to be there. So she starts traipsing around Santorini. And trust me, I was in Greece kind of recently. I wasn't in Santorini, but like those cobblestone roads and the high hills and stuff, it's not easy. Okay. She was dying. She was blistering. She finally makes it back. She has a glass of wine and she's devastated. And the chef who's trying to help them and like, wine, drink wine. It makes you happy. She's like, I'm not happy. I'm sad. He's like, but it makes you happy. She's like, but I'm sad. Ridiculous. Like, it's just too dramatic. It's too much for us, for nothing, for no reason. And then they get into it and Whitney's like, I am sorry. They had to kind of calm her down, but she turned. She was able to get over it. They get back to the pool. They calm down. Bronwyn tries to have a little bit of a lesbian experience with Whitney, but it doesn't really like work. Bronwyn's already, 3 steps out the door with Todd, her farting husband. And then they end up going out that night. Mary decides to stay home. And when Mary stays home, I stay home in my heart. If Mary's not there, I don't want to be there, Mary makes the show fun for me. When Mary was on the donkey and like struggling, I was with her. I love Mary. Mary is my happy girl. So Mary is not there and I don't want to be there. So, but I still have to go out with them. And in the car is when we find out that, Brittany trademarked high body count hair. Biggest mistake, I guess. I guess you're not allowed to trademark high body count hair. What do you guys think about this? If you get in an argument with someone and you throw out some sort of insult, are you the one that gets the trademark or are they the one that gets the trademark because you made fun of them? Who gets the trademark? It's a big question. That is the question. And, they were not happy about it. And so, of course, Angie's way of dealing with that, because Angie all of a sudden decided that she was like, no, I want that back. She wants it back. And instead of being like, oh, well, good for you, she gets pissed off and then she starts going after Britney's hair again. Well, your hair does look cheap and your hair does look long. And in fact, if my hair looks as long as yours, I know it's time to cut it. So rude. Angie turned so rude, though, 2 seconds after Britney said this. And I'm actually not a big Britney fan. I love Angie, but I thought Angie turned rude the second after she said this. Deborah says, I haven't seen the show. What is high body count hair? It's basically a saying that you're a little bit of a slut. That's basically it. I think that Britney got it first. Like, what was Angie waiting on so long, right? And then that was it pretty much. I missed the last 3 minutes of the show. So in case anything huge happened, I missed it. Because I had to hang out with you guys, and that's actually more preferable than the last 3 minutes of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So that is that, you guys. Great hump day with y'all. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure to hit the like and the subscribe before you leave, and let's see what develops throughout the week. And Enrique wants to see the full episode of Watch What Happens Live. You can see it on Peacock. You can see it on Bravo. You can see it on YouTube TV. I don't know. Where do you watch your TV, Enrique? I love you guys. I'll talk to you mañana. Bye.